watching through the windows as further flurries of snowflakes settled on the slushy paving stones. She knew the thin, unlined material wouldn't provide much protection against the chilling wind, but it was all she'd managed to find in the Red Cross charity shop this winter, and she hoped her thin-soled shoes wouldn't send her slip-sliding across the shiny cobbles. She shook her tightly wound curls free from the curlers she'd wrapped them in overnight and covered them with a headscarf that she tied under her chin. Checking her reflection in the wide oval mirror over the empty fireplace, she pulled up her coat collar and, with a hopeful smile, set off in search of work. Lizzie Doyle looked down at the piece of paper in her hand, then up at the house in the middle of the terraced row. No.9 Coronation Street. It looked a lot crisper and cleaner in the black and white photograph than the real thing. She peeked into the folds of the blanket-wrapped bundle she was holding closely in her arms and rubbed her finger gently against the baby's pink cheeks. She felt proud that despite all the shortages the family had suffered recently, at least they were as smooth and plump as any 6-month-olds should be. Nothing a bit of soapy water and a touch of elbow grease won't shift, eh, Sammy? She stared directly into his dark blue eyes. So, how'd you fancy living here, then? It doesn't look so bad, does it? And by the time our Ma and the boys are installed and we've run up some bits and pieces of curtains and the like, I'm sure we can make it really nice. She put the key in the lock and pushed open the front door. She was about to step inside when the door to number 11 swung open, revealing a young redhead dressed in a short skirt and brightly coloured home-knit jumper. She looked to be about 20 or 21, the same age as Lizzie. The woman drew on the cigarette she held between two nicotine-stained fingers and blew the smoke high into the air. "Morning," she said, peering beyond Lizzie into the hallway of number 9. "You moving in?" "When me ma and brothers gets here with the cart, we will be, yes." "You live next door, then?" The young woman put out her hand. "Elsie Tanner's the name, and I do indeed live here at number 11. Welcome to Coronation Street." Lizzie transferred the baby into the crook of her other arm and shook Elsie's hand. "Ta," she said. "I'm Lizzie Doyle." "We was all wondering who'd be brave enough to take it on," Elsie said. "Why's that?" Lizzie felt a jolt of alarm. "What's wrong with it?" "Oh, there's nowt really wrong, I can assure you, and I'd know as I've lived next door for nearly 6 years now. But you know how it is when a house has been empty for a while. Folk like to make something of it, and by the time everyone has put their 2 penn'orth in, there's all kinds of rumours flying around, even when there's no truth to them." "Has it been empty that long? No wonder it smelt musty when I opened the door." Elsie leaned back against her own front door. "Nowt to fret about. The last of the Todd family departed not long since." Lizzie didn't say anything. They couldn't afford to be choosy. They needed this house, and her ma would never let any neighbourhood gossip put them off. "I suppose folks need to keep themselves entertained," she said eventually. "There is a war on." "Aye, though maybe it'll be over soon, eh? Let's hope." Elsie pulled herself upright. "And let's hope you'll bring a bit of luck to the place." She grinned and, coming down off the front doorstep, tried to peep inside the blanket. "That your nipper?" "My baby brother," Lizzie said quickly, pulling the blanket back from Sammy's face. Elsie chuckled him under the chin. "And the rest of the family are following on with all your stuff, then?" Lizzie nodded. "All our worldly goods, not that there's much to 'em, but we manage." "How many of you is there?" "There's me ma, Cora Doyle, the twins, Seamus and Tom."